Arctic air is moving into the eastern United States. Multiple snowstorms are showing up in the model guidance, and temperatures could drop to levels we haven't seen in years. Let me walk you through what the data is showing, what's likely to happen, and what you need to know. Right now, conditions across the country are setting up for a significant pattern change. A cold front moved through the eastern states overnight. Temperatures dropped. Wind picked up substantially. We transitioned from yesterday's pleasant conditions into a much more active winter pattern. The European model shows a trough deepening over the eastern United States starting Wednesday the 14th. At the same time, moisture from the southern stream begins to interact with this cold air. That's the setup we need to watch. By Thursday the 15th, the model depicts widespread snowfall across the Ohio Valley, interior mid-Atlantic, and Northeast. This isn't a brief clipper system. The low pressure is broad and slow-moving, which means extended periods of snowfall for many areas. Even locations well inland from the coast could see significant accumulation. The system intensifies as it moves toward New England. Massachusetts and the immediate coastline see the heaviest impact as the low-pressure center tracks very close to the region. Then it moves offshore, and we re-left with sustained Arctic air. Now, about that Arctic air, the models are showing temperatures well below normal starting around the 14th and 15th. We are already talking greens and purples on the departure maps. That means 10 to 15 degrees below average for mid to late January. Around the 20th, an even colder air mass potentially moves in. The models depict temperatures running 25 degrees or more below normal across large portions of the eastern United States. If this verifies, we're looking at sub-zero temperatures for the upper Midwest, Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, northern Mid-Atlantic, and parts of the Northeast. The European Model S final frame shows temperatures at 7 in the morning, reaching -10 to -20 Fahrenheit across much of this region. Parts of the upper Midwest could see -30 to -40. That's the kind of cold we saw during the polar vortex events. You remember 2013, 2014, similar pattern. Now, I need to be clear about something. This forecast is 360 hours out. That's 15 days. Long-range temperature forecasts at this distance have significant uncertainty. The pattern could verify colder than normal without reaching these extreme values. Or it could verify exactly as shown. We'll know more as we get closer. The GFS model is more aggressive than the European with the snowstorm timing. It shows a more vertical orientation of the jet stream around the 18th. That would bring a major coastal storm from the Carolinas to Maine, widespread heavy snowfall. The European has been inconsistent with this particular system, showing it on some runs and not on others. Here is what that means practically. The 15th is 4 to 5 days out. That forecast has reasonable confidence. The 18th is a week out. The confidence drops. The extreme cold at the end of the month is 2 weeks out. Take it as a signal of pattern change, not a precise forecast. Looking at total snowfall accumulations across the model period, both the European and GFS show a foot or more of snow for portions of the upper Midwest, Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, Northeast, and Great Lakes. The GFS extends that southward into the Carolinas with its coastal storm. The European keeps most of the heaviest snow from the Ohio Valley northward. Either way, this is an active pattern. Multiple systems, sustained cold. If you in these regions, you're going to see winter weather. The precipitation pattern shows most of the moisture staying along and just offshore of the East Coast. The interior Northeast and Mid-Atlantic get snow from these systems. The Deep South sees some activity, but the Southwest and South Central states remain under high pressure for most of this period. Very dry there. Let me address the Great Lakes and Upper Midwest specifically. You're dealing with lake effect snow on top of these larger systems. When Arctic air this cold moves over the relatively warmer lake waters, you get significant enhancement. Narrow bands of very heavy snow downwind of the lakes. This is standard winter weather for you, but it compounds the accumulation from the synoptic systems. For the mid-Atlantic, the question is always snow versus rain with coastal storms. The 18th system, if it develops as the GFS shows, has cold air in place beforehand that favors snow, but coastal storms can pull warmer air northward. We'll need to watch the exact track closely. Northeast, you've got the best chance of seeing major snow from multiple systems. The cold air is more locked in. The storm tracks favor you. New England in particular could see substantial accumulation over the next 2 weeks. Now, practical considerations. If you are in the path of this Arctic air, prepare now. Check your heating system. Make sure you have adequate fuel. If you use propane or heating oil, wait until you running low. Protect your pipes. Any plumbing in exterior walls or unheated spaces needs attention. Let faucets drip during the coldest periods. That small water flow prevents freezing. If you elderly or have elderly neighbors, check in on them. Hypothermia is a real risk when temperatures drop this low. Make sure heating systems are working. Make sure they have food and necessary medications. For those with livestock or outdoor animals, provide adequate shelter and unfrozen water. This kind of cold is hard on animals. Vehicle preparation matters. Make sure your battery is in good condition. Cold weather kills weak batteries. Keep your gas tank at least half full. Carry blankets, a flashlight, and some basic supplies in your vehicle. If you break down in sub-zero temperatures, you need to stay warm until help arrives. The snowfall means roads will be difficult. Give yourself extra time. Increase following distance. If you don't need to travel during the worst of it, about this polar vortex pattern. The stratospheric polar vortex appears to be splitting in the model guidance. When that happens, pieces of very cold air break off and move southward. That's what brings these extreme temperature departures to the mid-latitudes. We've seen this before. It's a recognized pattern. It doesn't happen every winter, but it's not unprecedented. The last significant polar vortex disruption affecting the United States was last winter. Before that, 2013 to 2014 saw sustained extreme cold. Many of you remember that winter. This pattern has similarities. One thing to watch is the duration. Brief Arctic outbreaks are manageable. When the cold air persists for a week or more, it stresses heating systems, increases energy demand, and creates cumulative impacts on infrastructure and agriculture. The model suggests this pattern could persist through the end of January and possibly into early February. That is based on the large-scale atmospheric setup. The trough over the eastern United States and the ridge over the western United States appears stable in the guidance. For those interested in the meteorology, here's what is happening. The jet stream configuration is meridional rather than zonal. That means it's oriented north-south instead of west-east. This allows Arctic air to plunge southward more easily. The ridge over the west coast blocks Pacific moisture from moderating our temperatures. The trough over the east brings the cold air down from Canada. The snowstorms develop when southern stream moisture interacts with this northern stream cold air. The boundary between the two creates the lift needed for precipitation. With sufficient cold air in place, it falls as snow. Confidence in the overall pattern is high. Confidence in the specific details of individual storms decreases with time. The 15th system looks likely. The 18th is possible. Beyond that, we re-watching for signals rather than making precise forecasts. I'll continue monitoring the model guidance and updating as we get closer to these events. The pattern is clear. The details will come into focus over the next few days. For now, prepare for cold. Prepare for snow. This is shaping up to be an active period of winter weather for the eastern United States. Check back for updates. The models run every 6 hours. New information becomes available continuously. I'll break down what changes and what stays consistent. Stay safe.